The bell rang, echoing down the empty hallway of Hamilton High School, and Mrs. Eleanor James placed the final graded paper into the stack on her cluttered desk. She glanced around her classroom, the afternoon light casting golden slants through the tall windows. Dust floated lazily in the air, giving everything a quiet, reflective stillness. At 60 years old, Eleanor had spent nearly 4 decades teaching English literature. Her days were a rhythm of books, essays, and conversations with students that left her both tired and fulfilled. She never married, never had children of her own. In many ways, the school became her family, and her students, each one, over the years, had left behind traces in her memory. She remembered Jason from 97 who always stayed after class to talk about Shakespeare, or Amanda from 2004 who had struggled with dyslexia but went on to be a published author. Her life had followed a path most would call quiet, safe, predictable. But everything changed that fall semester when a new substitute teacher named Daniel Carter arrived. Daniel was in his early 30s, a former Navy veteran transitioning into education. Tall, with an athletic build and an open smile, he brought energy into the building that the faculty hadn't seen in years. He wasn't just liked by the students, he inspired them. But what surprised Eleanor the most was how often he found reasons to stop by her classroom. At first, it was under the pretense of needing supplies or asking about curriculum standards. Eleanor, reserved by nature, offered polite responses, never assuming anything beyond professionalism. But the frequency of his visits and the growing length of their conversations sparked a curiosity in her. She began to notice things. The way Daniel would lean against the doorway and ask about her favorite book. The way he listened when she spoke, not out of politeness, but with genuine interest. No one had really asked her those kinds of questions in years. One Friday afternoon, after the final bell, Daniel appeared again. "I keep seeing a copy of Wuthering Heights on your desk," he said, flashing his usual friendly smile. "Is that your favorite?" Eleanor chuckled softly. "It's one of them. Complicated characters tend to stay with you." He stepped inside. "Would you ever want to lead a community reading night? I've been trying to get one started in the library." She paused. "That's an interesting idea. Then let's do it," he said. Their first reading night attracted only a handful of parents and older students, but it became a monthly event. They took turns choosing the book, leading discussions, and exchanging ideas. The simple act of working alongside Daniel brought a spark into Eleanor's life she hadn't felt in years. It wasn't romantic, not at first, but it was something deeply meaningful. She found herself looking forward to their time together. Sometimes it was just preparing for the reading nights. Other times, it was staying after school and talking about everything from history to music. Over time, other teachers noticed the change in Eleanor. She smiled more often, dressed with a little more color, even walked with more confidence. Her best friend on the faculty, June Whitman, gently teased her one afternoon in the teacher's lounge. "You're glowing, Ellie. You're seeing someone, aren't you?" Eleanor rolled her eyes, laughing. "Don't be ridiculous. Daniel's just a colleague." June raised an eyebrow. "He's 33. You're 60. Stranger things have happened." Eleanor waved her off, but June's comment stuck with her. That night, she looked at herself in the mirror and saw a woman who had aged gracefully but had stopped expecting surprises in life. She hadn't realized how much she missed feeling seen until Daniel. As winter arrived, their connection deepened. After the December reading night, Daniel offered to walk Eleanor to her car through the falling snow. "It's freezing," she said, pulling her coat tighter. "Just a few more steps," he replied. "This town feels like a snow globe." She smiled. "I've always loved snow. It makes everything look clean. New." They reached her car, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. Daniel finally broke the silence. "You know, Eleanor, I think you're one of the most incredible people I've met. I've learned more from our talks than I ever did in college." She looked up at him, her breath visible in the cold air. "Thank you, Daniel. That means more than you know." He hesitated, then added, "Have you ever considered, maybe having dinner sometime? Just you and me?" She froze. The wind seemed to still around them. "Are you asking me on a date?" Daniel chuckled nervously. "I guess I am. Eleanor opened her car door but turned back to look at him. "I'll think about it." The next few days passed slowly. Eleanor found herself lost in thought more than once during class. She wasn't naive. She knew society often judged relationships with large age differences. But she also knew that genuine connection was rare. She finally agreed to dinner. They met at a quiet Italian restaurant in a neighboring town where no one would recognize them. The conversation was effortless. They laughed over shared stories, opened up about their pasts. Daniel spoke about losing his father young and how teaching gave him a sense of purpose. Eleanor confessed her fear of being alone in retirement. By the time dessert arrived, something unspoken had solidified between them. In the following weeks, they continued to meet outside school, discreetly. At Daniel's suggestion, they started volunteering at a local literacy program on weekends, helping adults learn to read. Eleanor was in awe of how kind and patient he was with the students. She hadn't realized how much she had been craving not just companionship, but someone who saw value in the same things she did. Eventually, their secret began to leak. A few teachers whispered. A parent mentioned seeing them out together. One student even made a passing comment about seeing Ms. James smiling way too much around Mr. Carter. Eleanor felt a pit in her stomach. She had always lived a quiet, private life. The idea of people speculating about her, judging her, was overwhelming. Daniel, however, was unfazed. "Let them talk," he said. "We haven't done anything wrong." Still, Eleanor felt the weight of it. One day, she received a call from the school board. A formal meeting had been requested to discuss faculty conduct and professional boundaries. Sitting in the sterile boardroom, Eleanor defended herself with quiet strength. "We are both consenting adults. We've maintained professionalism in school. Our personal lives do not affect our students or our responsibilities." After a tense hour, the board decided no action would be taken, but she was advised to be mindful of appearances. That night, she sat with Daniel in his small living room, her hands wrapped around a cup of tea. "Maybe this is too much," she said. "Maybe we should step back." He took her hand. "I don't care about appearances. I care about you." They sat in silence, warmth from the fireplace casting flickers across the room. For the first time in years, Eleanor allowed herself to cry not from sadness, but from release. Over the next few months, the gossip faded. The reading nights continued, stronger than ever. Some parents even started coming regularly. Eleanor and Daniel no longer felt the need to hide. Slowly, the school adjusted. Life moved on.